Here's my question for the three of you as experts on Russia. I'd like you three to tell us about corruption in Russia so as to help us follow the money in our investigation. And here's my specific question. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Watts. How can the committee track this fuzzy line between the Russian oligarchs, Russian organized crime, and the Russian government?
Thanks, Senator. I would first start off with I'm not the foremost Russian expert. I came to this through the Islamic State and ISIS. I'm really a counterterrorism person for the most part, and came to active measures mostly because active measures came after me. The second part that I would add to this discussion, though, is there is a money trail to be searched for and discovered. And we've focused very heavily on elites in our public discussion. What are elite people doing? But this influence action has both a virtual component and a physical component that's happened. I would say that what I can't see, which I would want to know, is what is happening in Eastern Europe. There's a disproportionate number of fake news outlets, conspiratorial websites that are run from there that are English-speaking editors that are pro-Russian, trained in Russia sometimes. How are they funded? That would be one component. My guess or my estimate, my hypothesis working in the intelligence field is that there is some sort of Russian intel asset that is funding them in one way or another through some sort of scheme. The other part that I think we should be looking at is follow the trail of dead Russians. There's been more dead Russians in the past 3 months that are tied to this investigation who have assets in banks all over the world. They are dropping dead even in Western countries. We've seen arrests in, I believe it's Spain, and different computer security companies that are based in Russia, which provide services to the United States. These are all huge openings to understand how they are funded by the Russian government. I don't have the capability to do that from where I sit, but I think that's a huge angle. If you can prove that part of it, I have to say on the influence side, we can see it. The one thing that's been misconstrued in the public discussion about Russian influence is that it's covert. You can hack stuff and be covert, but you can't influence and be covert. You have to ultimately show your hand. And that's why we've been able to discover it online. But the missing part is, how did they conduct this influence? There are newspapers, there are media outlets. The Balkans are littered right now with these sorts of outlets, and that's where I would start to dig on the financial space.
I'm almost out of time.